Khabib wrestles like a bear.
That's hilarious.
See the little videos with Khabib wrestling bears. Like people think you're exaggerating. Like he's wrestling bears. Like no, he was a kid wrestling a bear.
That's insane, man.
Yeah, that guy's interesting dude. I used to spar him. Cool dude, but super. That culture is just honor, honor, honor.
Yeah, they're intense.
They're like loyal. They're the kind of guys if you're at war you want by your side because you know they're going to stay by you and die by you. And like even though like obviously if I was Muslim it would be better, but I had a good relationship with Khabib. Not I wasn't Muslim just because I would spar with him. So he had a ton of respect for me. So you see these guys like these guys are all about respect.
Yeah. I get along with like honor Muslims super good. Those guys are the best. You know, the hypocrite ones can be like the worst because their claim is so big that if they're really the opposite, it's crazy. Like, because Christian claim isn't as big. It's more like a lot of forgiveness, but like the Muslim claim is like bang. And so the ones that are on it are some of the most, and when I got goats, I bonded with the Muslims because then they were calling me a goat effer.
You go fucker.
Oh yeah, totally. And then I'm like, and I used to say that about Muslims and I'm like, hey, I'm sorry guys. And then we all start
to fuck my goat too.
I know. I'm like, I get it. Now I have a wife. I get why you don't want the Jays taking pictures at the beach. I'm like, you guys are making a lot more sense now. And then their financial system's phenomenal.
Yeah, I've typically gotten along with Muslims. That's why people want me to hate on Muslims. It's like the funny thing is people are like, they'll hate you in these countries. I've been to these countries.
Me too.
Hospitality is so over the
awesome.
top. Like I remember I was there at Christmas. They brought me a Christmas cake, and they don't celebrate Christmas, but they're just way out of their way to like over the top hospitality and treat you good, invite you to their homes to have tea. So it's like, yeah, of course there's terrible Muslims out there, but as a whole, I've been treated good by them.
And the main thing is public-private, where it's like they keep their public clean. And so a lot of this stuff people hear where it's like, they ban this, they ban that. I'm like, in public, home, they'll bring you a Christmas card. Like they're honorable people. And they did a good job keeping a lot of gay stuff out of the public,
Yeah, it's interesting. I think it was Andrew Tate I heard. It's like, people know about gay people in public. They just make it, or in these countries, they just make it illegal because they don't look at pride parades. So like people know people are gay. They're not like out trying to arrest the gays. They just want them to keep it in the wraps.
It's about damage to kids. It's like, if you don't want that for your kids, you don't have to see it. So you could have a giant private property and make booze and whatever. The whole thing is like, don't damage the innocent. And I like that about Islam.
No, and I hate it when you see these pride parades and people are bringing their kids. It's
horrible.
Just like, come on. And like
damage.
Trans kids. I mean, I think that was what you were canceled for, right?
Yeah, because you can't go. That's what I used to be like, much more hedonistic, like anything goes. But it was like, I believed it. I wasn't a shill. I'm like,
same with me. So.
Who is that? Like, I grew up with a lot of hypocritical Catholics. So I'm like, these people are the opposite. I'm like, no one can tell anyone who to love and all that. When it went to kids, I'm like, bang. It was like I woke up from a bad dream. And then when I had a child, abortion was totally different for me.
That's when you realize it's not just a clump of cells.
Especially when they're like 30 week, 35. I'm like, dude, that thing's listening to you, man. It's like, and then I started trying to logically figure out when does life begin? And you got to just keep, it's like.
Yeah, that's a tough one for me because I think it does. I think it is in conception.
Me too.
But
I think the same thing.
This is one issue that I know I'm on the wrong side of it because I feel like I'm probably pro-choice because I don't want all these people having kids that are going to cause problems, but I know I'm morally wrong. So when they act like the pro-lifers are the bad guys, it's like these are clearly the people in the moral right here. It's like, it's just hard for me to justify.
Yeah, and I don't want to traumatize women that have had abortions because a lot of them are like really scared, and sometimes they go nuts when they won't address because they know it's like really hard for a lot of them. So I'm not one of those guys that's like, you killed your at all. Like I might have, thank God I never had to go down that road, but at 25, I have a hard time, but I didn't know what life was in the belly. So it's like, I mean, logically it's conception, but I don't like to enforce on, that's the funniest thing about dudes like us is like, people make it out like we're these like real forceful guys. And I don't like forcing anything on people. I'm just a logical dude. And I'm like, what is it when they get toes? Is it, and it has to be when you have a unique genetic thing. Yeah.
I had a kid super young and it was like, thankfully it's like, I thought I was like pro-abortion, but she's pregnant. Even though I wasn't dating her, I just felt like I couldn't kill my kid. It's like,
beautiful.
I could feel my kid in there, and I'm just like, there's life in here. I can't kill it.
I think I would have been the same. I just want to give people the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah. So could you imagine? No one's always like, wish I had your kid. I couldn't imagine if I killed my daughter. It's just
insane. And some people don't know what they lost. It's like they still are like, the parasite in my belly. It's like, Dude, the greatest thing in the world is being a dad. Like,
Yeah.
it's like the closest thing I've ever seen. That's when I was like, God's real. You know, before that, I always associated God with like religion and stuff like that. And I was like, oh no, that's beautiful beyond comprehension. And now I don't know, it changed me a lot.